Thank you so much. Well, worship band, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. It was nice worship, especially last two songs. I got a text message today in the morning, and I want to actually read it for you. Uh, One of the person that I know, and we work with him for a long time to help him in his family situation and everything. And this is actually going to be the topic of my sermon today. So, number one, I want you guys to open Bible. It's going to be Jacob chapter 1. Very simple. Just please open that. We will stay pretty much on all chapter 1. And then just few verses going to be from Proverbs. But check this out. I got a text message like this. I wanna read it to you. Happy Father's Day, business pups. Appreciate all that you've done. It hurts a lot today seeing kids from mom's Facebook, but just if you want to see it, right? And that person shares some pictures with me of his kids. It's son and daughter. And I was, I just sent him text message back, and this is what I wrote to him. Hey, my man, thank you. Happy Father's Day to you as well. Many things in our life are temporary. I'm getting ready to preach today at our church. Spend some time and read my notes. It will give you comfort and confidence. And that's exactly what I'm going to share today with you. Is going to be James chapter 1. James chapter 1, and we actually going to stay on verse 5 and 7, but I truly want you to pay attention. I'm not going to preach long. I'm probably going to spend like 20, maybe 25 minutes, but there is some stuff. It's really important for all of you. So please open with me, James chapter 1. We're actually going to start reading from verse 2. That was the last sermon, but it's so connected that I can't really separate. And from verse 2, chapter 1, James is saying like this: count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you are meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produce what? Steadfastness. And let the steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And this is actually the continuing stuff, which is verse 5 and 7. And it's saying like this: if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts, it's like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Well, if you look in this passage, I want to ask you a question. The sermon is going to be about wisdom. You know, the pastor texts me and asks me like, well, what's going to be the sermon name? And I'm saying, well, it's Book of James. Book of James is really amazing book. If you will spend time, it's only 4 or 5 chapters, nothing big, seriously, all right? It's very small, but it's very practical. It's very practical, okay? And today we're going to talk about testing your faith, and we're going to talk about wisdom. Now, let me ask you a question. Verse number 5 starts like this: if any of you lacks with wisdom. Could you please raise a hand if you ever lacks wisdom? Thank you. It's my hand too, okay? I raise it. We all need it, okay? Now, this is another test I want to do it, okay? So from 1 to 10, we're going to take 2 groups, okay? 1 to 5. Actually, let's do 3 groups, okay? So I'm not going to be like, separate you completely. Let's get 1 through 4, 4 through 7, 7 to 10, okay? And I'm going to raise hand with you as well, okay? So 1 through 4. Do you think from 1 to 10 is your wisdom level 1 through 4? That's my hand, by the way, okay? Is your wisdom level 4 to 7? My wife, that's exactly. I got to be married to the right person, okay, to have a little bit more wisdom, okay? And is any of you can raise and say, you know what? I'm like a Solomon, 7 to 10, that's me. I guess I'm putting that comparison. You can say like, no, we're not going to raise the hand, okay? We're not like Solomon, okay? Now, why this is important? Because like it or not, in our life, we need to make some decisions, and by the way, wise decision. I want to share with you what I actually lived through. It's my experience. I'm going to give you some practical tips. They helped me a lot. They helped me tremendously. But what is the definition of wisdom? So if I'm going to ask you definition of wisdom, this is one thing what I want you to remember. There is two definitions of wisdom. Not many words having two different definitions. But this particular one does have two different definitions. Number one, it's going to be definition of this world. And there is a definition of Bible or God himself. Okay, we will talk about both. All right, we will talk about both. And that is why I want you guys to pay attention, maybe take some notes and everything. Definition of wisdom of this world. It's saying like this, very simple, easy to understand. The quality of having experience, knowledge, and a good judgment to qualify of being wise. And that is true, 100%, right? So we're going to look at this and say, hey, the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, the quality of being wise, that's what is the wisdom. So most of us going through some life experiences, and we learn that way, okay? There is no child can be born, and please pray about Vadim and Irina, right? They are in labor right now, meaning I'm not sure if they're in the hospital right now, but they kind of getting ready for it, okay? Guess what? Igor, there is no child, your child was born and saying, you know what, Dad, I want cereal, I want milk, let's go to the fridge. No, it doesn't work like this. So it got to be experience of life, right? Experience of life teach you how to walk, experience of life teach you how to talk, experience of life how to be a child, then a teenager, right? Then to be a young adult, then to be adult, get married, right? It is experience in our life, which is, I 100% agree, the more experience of your life you have, it's better for you. Are you guys with me? Okay, so now check this out. Check this out. James actually starting like this. This is a very important point because James saying, count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you meet trials of various kinds. You know what is trials of various kinds? What is it? How can we explain that? That's the life experience we need to go through. How many of you guys had an issue with your car when you have a flat tire? All right, 3, okay, perfect. Good. Sisters, any of you? Oh, my wife, yeah, you called me, I remember that. Okay, but check this out. Just you had a flat tire and your mind started working completely different because you think like, okay, well, I'm right now it's 105 or 100 degrees on the freeway and it's hot, okay, I got to figure out what I got to do. That's a life experience you need to go through. That is why in any personal life, we're going to have trials and of various kinds. Anyone, family. You know, I know guys just got married, both of you young couples, 3 of you young couples right here. I guarantee you guys have completely different trials. By the way, they are various, okay? Man's gonna say, yes, amen, brother, 100%, okay? I never knew this and this and this and this. But you gotta go through that experience to understand how to act. And that's pretty much any person. Now, in a spiritual sense, it's a little bit different because we actually acting not just on our physical ability, which is experience, right? Like a car, flat tire, right? But as a Christian people, we also gotta learn how to defend ourselves from our enemy. Are you guys with me? It's very important. People who's actually not Christians, they don't have those issues. They just consciously, with their conscience, they making a decision, good or bad. Like this person, I read the text message. He made a bad decision and he was not wise enough to raise his kids. And now being a father, he sent me a text message, I want to be with my kids, but I was not wise enough to make a right decision going through different trials and tribulations in his life. But he didn't make the right wise decision to keep his family together. Okay, now for us as a Christian, a little bit different. We actually getting experience of life, go to school, get an education, start a job, helping mom and dad in the house, maybe get your own apartment, start making money, right? All of that is very important. But also, in addition to it, it's our spiritual life. And it's a humongous difference of people. That is why I said there is 2 wisdoms. Right? There is a wisdom of this people and then wisdom of God who created this earth. Now, it's a great analogy, okay? And what happens when you lack wisdom? What happens? Well, some of you are going to say, well, you know what? I'm not sure. I kind of lost. You know, a young generation love to say that. I kind of lost. I don't know what to do. I'm going to teach you a couple of tips. It's going to be some good for you. But when we lack wisdom, okay, most of us, it's a person as a great disadvantage when he's void of wisdom about what to do. Maybe, you know, how to pay your bills on time. You know, you got your cell phone bill and you got to pay that bill, right? Or how to, you know, maybe be a good person, good citizen. How to reverse or decline in a business, or how to resolve challenges with the children, spouse, wife, family, right? Co-worker. I mean, we need wisdom in all of that too, because we live in this world and we got to be a good example so they can see that we're wise enough. And when people lack wisdom, how to make a key decision that will affect their future. That's very important, right? Now, when you're going through various tribulation and challenges in your life, many people cannot act with wisdom. That is why James saying like this: count all your joy when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produce steadfastness. And I'm sorry, I probably pronounced wrong, right? But now, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking of nothing. Bible actually teaching you how to be full and complete and lacking of nothing. And by the way, verse number 5, that's the answer. Verse number 5 is the answer. Is if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Okay? Now, technically, when you're going through a lot of trials, or you're going through a lot of tribulations in your life, or you're going through a lot of challenges, practical tip number 1, please write this down. Please write this down. Please write it down. Practical tip number 1, advise with wise and experienced people. I don't know what kind of challenge you have. It could be a marriage. It could be, I cannot find a job. I know a lot of people that can't find a job. Then I'll look different than any other person, but they can't find a job, right? Or, you know, hey, I can't raise my kids, or whatever it's gonna be, okay? My spiritual life in not in the right order. Guys, I'm telling you all the time when I do premarital counseling, I think like this: please advise with the wise and experienced people. My question is very simple to you: who's your coach? Who's the person coaching you in your life? Who's the person watching you, David, and saying, yep, you're doing right. And if you will continue doing like this, this is going to be the results. That is why you got to go to the wise and experienced people. If you will go to your siblings or your peers, most of them don't have that experience and they're not wise from the situations that you go. Are you guys with me? For that reason, usually I choose someone who's older. I love to have older friends. I have friends who's 70 years old, 60 years old. I call them friends. I call them coaches. I can give them a call. I can get advice from them, okay? Who's your mentor, right? Who's mentoring you in church? Do you have a pastor? Do you have a minister? Do you have someone outside of church who's a pastor or a minister, or someone who's experienced maybe missionary, who went through a lot of trials and of various kinds? If you have that person, it's going to be a blessing for you, because you will have those. James telling you, not if, it's actually saying like this: count it all joy when you meet. It's not saying if. And the verse number 5, it's saying if any of you lacks wisdom. But in the verse number 2 and 3, it's not saying if. It's actually going to happen with you, just a matter of time. Are you guys with me? Okay? So that tip number 1, practical tip, right? Advise with the wise and experienced people. Who's your coach? Who's your mentor? Ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. Okay? Now, when you ask for wisdom, basically it's like this, okay? What is the best choice? Which way should I go? How do we decide between two different paths? Those who truly trust God will ask Him for wisdom. Asking God for wisdom is an evidence that we trust Him. Do you see what I'm doing? If you ask for wisdom, that means you trust Lord that He will take care of you. You don't have to worry about your trials. If you will ask Him for wisdom, that means you trust Him. He will take care of you. Guys, I'm telling you, your life will be different. And by the way, in fact, any Christian, any person, any Christian will go through trials, and this is exactly what you need to grow in faith and learn how to trust God. If your life not challenging, I'm telling you right away, it's going to be hard for you to be believer, strong believer. Because when God does miracles in your life and you truly understand that, you so trust Him that you're saying, God, I'm nothing of nothing. I deserve nothing of nothing, but you so taking care of me and providing and doing everything. And especially you kind of go through the ministry. You know, God, how I'm going to do that? Or you go through a missionary trip. How are we going to handle this? Or maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your college. God, I don't know how to pass exam. Come on. I bet all of us prayed that prayer, okay? I did. I don't know about you, right? We all were like, man, it's kind of hard. But if you go to God, you start learning to trust and you see like, okay, God, I know your will in my life, okay? Now, let me give you another practical tip, which is helping. So number one, you need to have mentors and you need to have coaches in your life and wise people, okay? Whatever how you want to call it, that's totally fine. Now, me personally, how can I know that I'm actually acting wise? I have 3 questions. If you will learn these 3 questions, guys, I'm telling you, in my life, it was many, many times when these 3 questions helped me a lot to make a right decision. So if I don't have a time to go to my mentor, okay, if I don't have a time to go to someone to talk to, I have 3 questions to ask. If you will learn these 3 questions, if you're going to remember them, write them down, it's going to help you a lot. Question number 1, okay, what is the best case scenario? So let's say, I mean, we have some young people. I'm going to use proposal scenario, okay? You want to propose to a girl, okay? You want to propose to a girl and to your sister. And, you know, what is the best case scenario? I mean, she's going to say yes, right? That's the best case scenario. That's easy, right? Joe is smiling like, man, yep. All right? So best case scenario is going to be yes, right? Now, question number 2 you got to ask. Question number 2 you got to ask, okay? What is the worst case scenario? What's going to be the worst can happen to me when I'm going to do proposal? And the answer is no, right? So yes, no, it's very simple, okay? You know what is the question number 3? So we got the best, we got the worst, right? What is the question number 3? It got to be in between. And the question number 3, it got to be like this. What's most likely will happen? And now your mind starts saying, you know what? Well, I'm going to tell you a true story tonight. We're going to share a little bit more at the youth service, you know. But you know, I did propose to Dina, to my wife. Now, I think 5 times. I kid you not. This is a true story. She never said no. That would be my worst case scenario. She never said yes. That would be my best case scenario. But she said, I need some time. I'm like, okay, I understand you. Are we still together? Yeah, we're still together, but I need some time. All right, no problem. And she was wise enough to take that time because she actually had a commitment for herself and said, you know what, I want my parents to bless our marriage. And at the beginning, I mean, now you all know Russian getting to Ukraine, married to Ukrainian. I mean, you see the result in Russia and Ukraine, right? It's a joke. This is not true, okay? But at that time, it was the same thing. I mean, I was a young believer. I just accepted Jesus maybe like 2 years ago. Just got baptized a year ago. Just came to a new country. I was only 2.5 months in the country when I proposed to Dina to date. 2.5 months, not years, 2.5 months. But those 3 questions helped me a lot. What's going to be the best? Well, she's going to say yes, boom, we're going to make it happen, and it's going to be a wedding, right? What is the worst? She's going to say no. Well, okay, now I know what's up. what is most likely going to happen? And I knew that because she, like, through your mind, you're probably going to go and say, like, well, she's going to tell me, and that's exactly what she said. Like, man, you're only 2.5, 3 months in the country. You simply don't have money to get married. I said, we'll figure it out. She's like, well, I don't want just figure out. I want the wedding. I said, we'll figure it out anyway. Okay, it took us 3 years and we did figure out, okay? So that's what happened. So ask for wisdom, because that's exactly what is the Bible teaching you. Ask for wisdom. Are you guys with me? It's very simple. Ask for wisdom. If you have a situation in your life, if you have some trials in your life, if you have something that you don't know how to make decision, guys, I'm telling you, practical tip number 2, it's helped me a lot. What is the best? What is the worst? What is the most likely going to happen? It helped me many, not just in family, not spiritually, not physically, not business, not financially. I mean, in all the areas of my life, those 3 questions help us a lot, help me a lot. Okay, now, this is what's going to happen if you're going to ask from God. If you're going to ask from God for a wisdom, James saying like this, okay? Let's read it. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives what? Generously. He's not going to give you a little piece. He's not going to say, well, just for this situation, this is it. Okay? Probably you're never going to use it again in your life. No. The wisdom that you will get from God, it will be given to you generously to all, listen to it, to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. What does that mean? Specifically, purposely, I ask you a question. Did you ever in your life made unwise decision? And you're all going to raise the hand. I will as well. Okay, probably not once, probably not twice, not 3 times, many times. But God does not look in your past and say, you know what? Dude, man, you were so not worthy. I mean, it was a simple situation right there. Come on, just stop it. Don't do it. Why you did it? He's like, well, God, I was tempted. And God's saying, well, you know what? Because I tried to help you in the past, in the future, because of those choices, I'm not going to help you. No. God telling you that anytime you come to Him and ask for wisdom, it will be given to you. So that reapproach of God, man, look in my life, it was mess. You all know many stories of people who were not wise in their life. Maybe it's your life. I remember, Oleg is here, we were praying. Yep, Oleg is here, we were praying about him. And he said from that moment, when we were together in the hospital, he said, I'm changed, Denis. So God didn't say like, well, Oleg, because you made some unwise decision in the past, in the future, I'm not going to bless you. No. Anytime we can come and He will bless us. This is very important to understand. Very important to understand. Because Satan will do otherwise. Satan will remind you of your past. Satan will remind you of your past and say, come on, how can you trust God? How God can trust you, man? Do you know how many times you fail? Do you know how many times you fail? That's going to be the talk. I remember right there by that pillar, I had a conversation with a brother. He's saying, Denis, I'm struggling right now. Maybe I'm not in the right ministry. Maybe I got to go to a different church. Maybe I got to do something different. That brother with us in church, everything is good. I say, why is that? In the past, I've done some unwise decision, and I'm thinking, I say, it's not God. It's not God. I give him that verse. It's not God. That's a Satan who's reminding you and telling you about your past. But as you know, God, when He will forgive you, and that's going to be for all future sins as well, because none of us holy without Jesus, right? So if any of you lacked wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. All right, let's go to a practical tip right here. You all know Matthew 7:7. You probably don't know the Matthew 7:7, but you know when I'm going to start reading, and it's saying like this: ask and it will be given. You all know this, right? You all know Matthew 7:7 saying like this: ask and you will be given. It will be given to you. Seek and you will find it. Knock and it will be open to you. That's it. That's simple. Don't make it complicated. Jesus, I'm not sure if I'm going to be taken for that position. Well, you just got to ask. He will give you generously. Maybe that position that you're looking to hire yourself for the job is not a good position. Maybe those co-workers is not going to be good for you. That is why God's saying, don't worry about this job. I'm going to put you right here. Maybe you want to start the business and you're trying something. It's not really going. And He's saying, listen, you need to stop. But hey, I'm going to bless you with something else. You got to learn how to trust God. And for that reason, Matthew 7:7 give you very, very simple. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find it. Knock and it will be open to you. Wisdom. Wisdom. There is many places in Bible talking about wisdom. So let's go in a couple of minutes. I see we're going to finish up right now. But Proverbs 11:14, Proverbs 11:14 saying like this: where there is no guidance, a people fail. But in abundance of counselors, there is safety. Do you remember practical tip number 1? You want to be wise? Very simple. No guidance, no coaches, no mentors, no wise people around you. Well, people will fall. They will fail in their decisions. You can't know everything. That is not true. I'm 43 years old. I don't know everything. That is why I'm going to someone who's older and wiser. Okay? Because I want to be in abundance of counselors. There is a safety. That's what exactly Bible telling you about the wisdom. All right? Have those people. Don't be shy. Be open. You're Christian. There is nothing need to hide, need to be hidden in your life. Just go talk to a minister if you need to. Listen, this is what happened. Warn them and tell them like, hey, can I trust you? Can I tell you my secret? Can I tell you what I went through? What kind of issues I have in my life? Is that okay? And if that person will accept that, say, well, I'm seeing you as a counselor. I'm seeing you as a person who can help me. Right? Psalm 19:1. If you can open this, Psalm 19:1. Yep. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaim His handwork. Look at this. The best way to ask for wisdom to go to a one who actually create heavens. Create the sky. Everything what you see, all the mountains, all the rivers, all the cities. You think people created. God let people create that. Why not to go to someone who can help you to the person who created everything? And this is the best advice, and we're going to finish with this, okay? So could you please help me to open my favorite book, okay? In conclusion, we'll talk about Bible definition of wisdom or God's definition of wisdom, okay? It's only a few verses. Please stay with me. It's really going to help you a lot. Okay, so please open Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. Do that for me. I didn't put them. Yep, perfect. Let's go read together and we're going to finish with prayer, okay? This is like 10, 15 verses, but I want you guys to take these verses seriously and study them home. I've done it many times. Not once, not twice. I did it today in the morning. Okay, so we're going to read from verse 13 to verse 26, but the whole chapter is talk about this. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom. That person is just happy. That person is complete. What is the Bible saying, right? James saying that person is complete, perfect, and lacking in nothing. Okay, so that man is blessed, or that woman is blessed, right? Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her, which is wisdom, is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She, wisdom, is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. That's wisdom. Nothing. Nothing in life can compare with wisdom. Nothing. And I'll prove you why. And you will see it. Long life is in her right hand, and in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She, wisdom, is a tree of life. To those who lay hold of her, those who hold her fast are called blessed. The Lord, listen to it, the Lord by wisdom founded the earth. Can you imagine? Lord himself God himself used wisdom to create this earth. By understanding, God, established the heavens. By his knowledge, the deeps broke open and the clouds dropped down the dew. My son, do not lose sight of this. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life to your soul and adornment to your neck. Then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. If you lay down, you will not be afraid. When you lay down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or the ruin of the wicked. When it comes, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. One thing I wish it to all of you: wisdom from God. Amen. Let's pray. Lord, you're so amazing. You're such an amazing God. My heart in the full joy that again and again and again we can talk about this specific but very important subject, wisdom. Jesus, I'm so thankful to you that you guide me. You were my guidance because I was looking for you and your wisdom. You said so simply, if we're lacking any wisdom, just come to you. And so many of us will start looking for different ways. But it's so easy to come to you and you will give generously. You will give, you will bless. You're not going to look in the past, but you're going to bless in now and in future. Thank you for those promises. It's absolutely amazing promises in the Old Testament and the New Testament. For my brothers and sisters who's here, I'm asking you to look for that wisdom. Go in a scripture and find those places and understand them. So that's going to be a guidance for them in their life, in their choices, in their family, with the kids, with wives or husbands, or if they date, or if they're making any serious decision. Lord, please bless United Servers, bless all of us. We're so in need of your guidance in our life. But you give us a chance to spend some time and dwell in your word and learn about the wisdom, learn about what we need in our life to have a blessed life, to have a sweet sleep like we've read, and not to be caught in our ways. Thank you, Jesus, for all of that. Thank you for service. Thank you for worship. Thank you for brothers and sisters who was getting ready. Thanks for everyone who came. And in these Father's Days, God, please bless all the fathers. We need that wisdom as well. And we're all praying in your precious name. We're all thankful to you, our Lord Jesus. Amen. All right, church, enjoy your Father's Day.